the Backrooms, Part 1. This is a skin stealer. The only description that we really have of these creatures are that they are tall and pale yellow creatures. They look like a humanoid figure with sunken eyes. Skin stealers are normally docile creatures, but they get aggravated when they get touched. Once they become aggravated, they hunt down and kill their victim and then tear off their skin, presumably to wear on their own bodies as a sort of disguise. Explorers with long scars along their veins, neck, or chest may possibly be a skin stealer. Another way to tell is by looking at their blood. Skin stealers' blood is transparent. An easy way to remember this is by remembering the rhyme, blood is red, he's not dead, blood's not in sight, be ready to fight. These entities can be found on level 1 and 2.
Disturbing facts you didn't ask for, but you're getting anyways. Now, I love The Wizard of Oz. It was my favorite movie growing up. But did you know that a lot of messed up things happened during the filming of this movie? Judy Garland was forced on a diet of soup, crackers, and 80 cigarettes a day. She was routinely groped and molested by a lot of the Munchkin actors. She was forced to film many hours every day and then given drugs to help her sleep. This actually contributed to her drug addiction and eventual overdose. She was even slapped by one of the directors on set. Additionally, there's a rumor that one of the Munchkin actors hanged himself on set, which many people believe can be seen in the background on one of the scenes.
Yes, the picture at the end is real. In 1876, a woman from a very prominent family in Paris goes missing. After years go by and no one has a clue what happened to this woman, friends and family ultimately mourn her death and move on. 25 years later, and this anonymous letter shows up on the Attorney General's desk, claiming that the missing woman's family had a secret. Intrigued by the letter, the police go to the family's home, show it to them, and ask to search the property, to which they say, go for it. They search, they don't find anything, but on the way out, they notice something very peculiar. At the end of some stairs was a door that was padlocked shut. When the family refused to open it, the police break it down and make a horrifying discovery. Cowering on a rotten straw mattress in a pitch black room was the missing woman, now 50 years old and extremely malnourished. Her mother had imprisoned her there after they had fought over her boyfriend, and she had not seen sunlight or another human being in 25 years.
Oh my, yet another victim of the disease.
2-sentence horror stories. I looked out from the second floor at a bloody mess outside on the street and realized that my parents had been lying to me. They told me babies were bouncing bundles of joy, but my brother had barely bounced at all. What's it like being dead? The little girl asked me. I held her hand, looked at her in the eye, and spelled out cold and lonely on the Ouija board. It's all in your head, my doctor told me, as we both stared, horrified, at my x-ray. The aliens interviewed every last human to see if they were good and worth saving. Then they asked the animals. As the rapture began, I was bitterly disappointed to find myself left behind, and then I looked up at the departing figures and saw all the open jaws awaiting them in the sky. My son wakes me up by screaming at the top of his lungs. It always gets louder leading up to the anniversary of his death.
Creepy Facts, Part 64. Did you know that bodies can move during cremation? It has to be under certain conditions, of course, but the body can sit up in a way during cremation. If the body is burned at a low temperature and very quickly after death, muscles will begin to contract and start doing the following.
Top 3 kids who killed. Number 3. In 1993, 12-year-old Eric Smith was riding his bike to a park in New York. While on his bike, he hit 4-year-old Derek Robbie, who was walking alone. Eric lured him into the woods, strangled him, dropped large rocks on his head, and violated him with a stick. The most chilling detail was how emotionless he was while describing his acts. Today, he's still in prison and has been denied parole multiple times. Number 2. In 1998, 14-year-old Joshua Phillips was playing with a baseball bat when he accidentally struck 8-year-old Maddie Clifton in the eye. He claimed he panicked, so he strangled her and stabbed her 11 times, afterwards storing her body under his bed, which he was caught and sentenced to life in prison. Number 1. In what may be considered the most famous childhood convicted murderers, 10-year-old John Venables and Robert Thompson. They abducted 2-year-old James Bulger in 1993. They took him to a railway line and began to torture him. It's sad to see this happen and such a young life cut short.
Creepy facts you didn't ask for, but you're still getting anyways. In 1496, Joanna I of Castile entered a political marriage with Philip the Handsome from Burgundy. By most accounts, Philip loved Joanna, just not enough to stay faithful. Unfortunately, Joanna was madly in love with Philip. One of Philip's mistresses once had the misfortune of crossing paths with Joanna. Joanna chopped off her hair, and then she stabbed her in the face. It gets so much worse. Later on, when Philip died, Joanna refused to let him go. Literally. Refusing to part with her cheating husband, she clung to his body. Even when her father stepped in and had the body buried, it didn't last long. Joanna ordered to have him exhumed, ran to his coffin, and kissed his dead feet. From that moment on, his body accompanied her everywhere. Only years later did she finally have him buried right outside her bedroom window. Creepy Facts, Part 67. If you get bitten by another human, you absolutely have to go to the hospital as soon as possible, preferably right away. This is because the amount of bacteria that is in a person's mouth could kill you if it enters your bloodstream.